Welcome to this episode of Q&A with Liturgy Man. I'm Taylor Burton-Edwards, Liturgy Man with Discipleship Ministries of the United Methodist Church. I'm your apportionment dollars at work to help you strengthen worship and the understanding of worship where you are. Today's question is one I frequently get around this time of the year from congregations who are looking for services for their local church and not able to find them for the local church. The two services they tend to look for the most are a service of passing on of the mantle from a person who may be retiring from their congregation to an incoming pastor, or a service of celebrating the anniversary of an ordination of their pastor. Why don't we have services like those in the book of worship, or really anywhere else? Well, we do have services kind of like both of those, but they're not for the local congregation. They're for the annual conference. Many conferences have their own practice of a passing on of the mantle, if you will, from retirees to incoming clergy, if you will. But that passing on of the mantle practice is not about who is going to serve a particular local congregation. And that's because we don't really do successors from one pastor to the next, and we don't have a congregationalist polity where a congregation calls their pastor or that pastor is involved in selecting the next pastor of that congregation. In our polity, an episcopal polity, the bishop appoints the pastors, who are part of that annual conference or occasionally from another annual conference to serve a particular local congregation for a particular period of time. It's not so much connected to the congregation as it is connected to the life of the conference as a whole, which is our basic unit of polity. And that's why ordinations for us occur not at local congregations, but everyone in that ordination class is ordained in the same service of ordination at the annual conference in a single service that occurs once a year as the annual conference gathers. So we do have a passing on of the mantle service that many annual conferences use, but it's to recognize the outgoing whole class of retirees in a given year who have been approved by the clergy session for retirement, and to recognize the incoming class who have just been ordained, again, through the operation of the entire annual conference and in the presence of the members of the annual conference all gathered to be witnesses to that event with everyone else who's being ordained that year. Our polity calls for that to be the occasion of ordination. And therefore, where we talk about the anniversary of ordinations, the way to think about that is not so much in terms of on what day was I ordained, but rather the annual celebration of the ordering of ministry, of the ordination services. So each time someone who has been ordained returns to annual conference, there is the opportunity for a kind of celebration of that ordination as they now participate as an ordained person in the ongoing services of ordination that will occur at that annual conference that year. So we don't have those kinds of services for local churches. We have them at the level of the annual conference because in our polity, that's where they belong. Hope this has been helpful. Remember, you can always contact me, worship@liturgyfolks.com, through the UMC Worship Facebook group, or drop a line on this page, and perhaps your question or comment may become the basis for a future episode of Q&A with Liturgy Man. May the peace of Christ be always with you.